Developed by French video game developer Spiders, Greedfall is an action RPG with a fantasy setting. Right off, you will notice that the game is set in a time around the 17th century, but on an alternate world of some sort. You play a character who is a legate of the Congregation of Merchants. As the story starts, you are in a scene getting a portrait made. This is the moment where you can create your player. You can adjust the gender, face, hair, facial hair, eyebrows, skin color, hair color, and eye color. It's not super extensive, but it gets the job done. If you don't feel like putting in the effort, there is a preset option that you can use. Once that is done, you will be able to pick your starting class. There are 3 to pick from. Starting with Warrior, this class focuses on melee combat. Technical focuses on controlling the battlefield, and the Magic class focuses on the use of offensive spells from a distance. If you take a look under the chosen class, the game will recommend a selection of starting skills, attributes, and talents. You do not have to use the recommended and are free to choose your own path. The next screen is the attribute section. Here you will be able to put points into your desired attribute. You will start out with 1 and will gain more as you progress through the game. There are quite a few to choose from and must be picked in sequence. The 6 categories are Strength, which increases the power of all melee attacks, Agility, which increases fury generation and all damage inflicted in melee combat, Mental increases the power of all spells, Willpower, which increases maximum magic points and spell duration, Accuracy increases the power of all firearms and alchemical preparations. Lastly, we have Endurance, which increases maximum life and balance. Keep in mind that even though you can pick said attribute, make sure you pair it up with your role. For example, if you are a magic user, don't put all your points towards strength and melee weapons, but instead focus on mental power and willpower. My character is a magic user, but I do have a couple of points in strength, so I can at least have a backup weapon if I run out of magic, or it's proving to be ineffective at the moment. Moving on, you will be greeted with the Talents tab. There are 6 categories to put your points into. The first being Charisma will come in handy as it will lower merchant prices and slightly improve your companion's combat abilities. Vigor will give you better balance so you can cross narrow ledges and also increases ammo capacity. Another good thing about this perk is that it allows you to recover a bit of magic and health outside of combat. Craftsmanship will allow you to craft basic weapons and armor. Putting points in Intuition will let you see gathering areas more easily and also allow you to get a bump on the amount of ingredients you receive. This also opens up extra dialogue boxes like in Fallout 3. Lockpicking allows you to open locks depending on the level, and you are able to see traps while exploring. I personally find this talent very helpful, as you may be able to gain access to an area to avoid a fight. The Science talent will allow you to make simple potions and destroy weak walls with the help of explosives. Each additional upgrade will cost only 1 point. Confirming your choices will set the next screen. You are reminded that you are to set sail today and your cousin is missing.
Have you any more need of me, Master?
You haven't forgotten that we're setting sail today, have you?
Of course not.
Your cousin is nowhere to be found. I've searched the palace from cellars to attics. Your uncle is beside himself.
He was of a mind to paint the town last night. Don't worry, I shall track him down. I am sorry, sir, truly. I must be going.
My lady, please, I beg you. Her Highness has personally requested I finish.
Thank you, cousin, for getting me out of that.
Like other RPGs, you can choose what mission to take on first. You can even stop a mission and start another, then come back. The visuals look very good and has that old time look. I think they pretty much nailed it. It really makes you feel as though you are in England or somewhere close. I can't comment on the authenticity of the accents, but just by ear, I think they sound pretty good. You can speak to NPCs that are all over the place. Most will reply with one-liners because the majority have nothing to do with the story. The clothing that everyone has on is very different to what most are used to. Other games will have you in a robe, armor, or pants and shirt. I really like the style because I feel that the developers really tried to make this game different. Next, you will finally meet your first companion named Kurt, and here you will get your first taste of combat training. I'll admit I didn't do too well even though I passed. I was using a controller at the time and found it very odd to use the directional pad to bind items and using them in combat. You can bind 4 items, then using the right trigger will be able to bind 4 more. If you include the right trigger and the A, B, X, Y buttons, that's a total of 12 shortcuts. That is a lot for a controller, and you might forget what you have bound to them. I found it better just to assign a few to group 1, then use the tactical pause to select what I need. After all the training, you will be able to talk to some of the characters in the city and gain even more missions to take on. They are not that hard, and some only require just a bit of common sense and a little investigating.
We would consider it a tremendous favor if you would arrest them and deliver them to our guard.
Could you tell me anything about Taleme?
As you visit your mother to say goodbye, which is quite saddening, you learn that she has a condition and is dying. She also mentions that the island could contain a cure.
Me so much of your father. I do miss him so. Today is the big day, isn't it? Ready to set sail for that island everyone's talking about.
Yes, but the idea of leaving you behind, alone and ill.
Dying, my child. Alas, there is nothing you can do by staying that would ease my suffering. One thing brings me cheer. They say the island is full of miracles, and we might find a cure.
Even if I were to find it, I would never be able to return in time to...
I know. But it brings me comfort to know my daughter has left on a mission to heal her people. Come now. It is time for you to take leave. Here, take this with you.
What is it?
A family heirloom. Something that... Take it and keep it with you. May it bring you good luck. All my blessings go with you, my child. Now, be off.
The people that occupy the streets seem believable and not out of place. Some are going about their day while others may be lying on the street or possibly dead. Every now and then you will see a person that is walking awkwardly, like walking then suddenly turning to go the other way, and it's like a loop. It's okay a few times, but seeing it frequently makes it seem out of place and odd. Some parts of the city have fog on the streets, and in some places you will see the townspeople burning dead bodies that have been taken over by the disease. The town of Serene looks pretty big according to the map, but it's easy to navigate rather quickly if you run. While talking to important people on missions, there may be plenty of dialogue to choose from and branch out like trees. Some questions asked will create new tasks for you to complete and or help you at least. While on mission, you will find the person or object in question, and most of the time they will be lying in your face. After some investigating, you will find the cause and understand why they were doing the action.
He's a naught that you kidnapped and locked up. In the eyes of the prince, you have committed a crime that puts the interests of the congregation at great risk.
I beg of you, Your Excellency. Have mercy on a poor mother who is looking only to recover her child. We didn't kidnap our own son. And if you...
When the mission is almost over, you may choose to help the person or turn them over. It's up to you how it will play out.
It doesn't sit well with me to send you to the flames. I freed your smuggler and he'll certainly be in touch. He or another member of his band. Be careful and safe travels.
Oh, thank you, my lady. You are a woman of noble heart. May the illuminated protect you.
Thank you for having heard us and...
There are some things that seem weird in the game that I noticed. For instance, if you are sneaking, your companions will be spotted, but as long as the person you are hiding from does not see you, you're fine. Another thing is that your companions can block your path, and you may have to back up a bit since you can't walk through them. Anyway, after you are ready to set sail for the new land, you will have a chance to finish any missions that you have not completed.
Permission to board the ship. We are ready.
Certainly, but keep in mind that we'll be at sea for several months. If you have any farewells to make or any final business to put into order, now is the time.
Combat is pretty satisfying if you are equipped with some decent weapons. Having an underpowered weapon will cause a fight to drag on longer than it needs to. I thought I was going to die in my first boss fight and just took my time and developed the old strategy that works from time to time. Run and take pot shots with magic while keeping my distance. I'll keep moving till my magic charges up, then repeat. Making it to the new island will present you with a lot more to do. You will take on new missions and meet a few more companions. You can only have 2 at a time. Just like in Serene, there are vendors here that you can buy and sell items to. You will also be using the world map a lot more. Opening up your inventory will bring up more info screens. On the stats screen, you will be able to see a wealth of information about your character and companions. Things like skill level, relationships, and experience. The event screen will provide weapon damage, armor defense stats, and more. The character development screen will include the previous skills, attributes, and talents, but this time the skills are expanded. Here you will be able to put points into one-handed blades, firearms, stasis, two-handed heavy weapons, long blades, and much more. The equipment tab will let you see what you are carrying, including potions, ingredients, weapons, and their weights. You can equip armor, firearms, and different clothing on this screen as well. When traveling, you will be able to stop at camps, which will let you store items in a storage unit, switch companions, and use the workbench before you continue to your destination. If you open your journal, you will be able to access the main quests, whether they are completed or not, the side quests, and missions. The 2 you see here were obtained on the community billboard within the city. This is the world map that you will use to travel from one place to the next. If you head to the codex, you will be able to read up on the backstory of a lot of the characters that may not have been conveyed while playing. Info on places and creatures are also included. It seems like a lot of work went into this game, as the photos are real good quality along with some included history. There's a lot of reading that can be had if you are the reader type, with more to be added as you travel and explore. Next, we have the ingredients and where they can be found. Moving over, there is a game guide to help you with the game's mechanics, just in case you may have forgotten something. Lastly, you have notes. You will find these randomly in the world and locations you visit. Now moving on to the temps and FPS. So this game ran pretty good on this laptop, but at times the frame rate would drop or increase. Not all the time, but when something drastic would happen on screen, such as moving between buildings, going indoors, or going into fields. What I did notice is that being in the open and not in the city, frame rates are better than what you will see here. Anyway, because of this, I had to add the 1% and the 0.1% lows. And the way I tested this is by running around in the city, then running outside the city and engaging the enemy. So for the most part, this machine ran over 60 FPS, being slightly undervolted to control temperatures. I think just looking at the numbers, this is very acceptable. I just wish the spikes weren't there. Temperatures on every setting is very good, considering this is a laptop with an RTX 2060. Wrapping up, I feel this is a worthwhile purchase for those wanting a little spin in the RPG department. Combining magic with melee weapons and sometimes firearms is pretty cool if you can create a combo. Always remember that fighting is not always the best option, and depending on your talents, the situation can be talked out and or de-escalated. The game is not perfect. I did manage to see some cloning of characters in the game along with weird animations that I mentioned earlier. Also, when engaging the enemy, I had to change to tactical pause to make sure I was attacking the correct enemy. The stealth mechanic needs just a bit of improvement, and the AI of some of the enemies need to be improved. Even with those issues, the game is still wonderful to play. The backgrounds, the music, voice acting, and the fighting make it all worth it. There is a day and night cycle in the game, but there is no weather to be seen. No rain, no snow, no nothing. I really hope Spiders releases a patch or something to fix these issues that are being reported by the community. That's all I have for now. If you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Thanks for watching. Meanpooh, out.